Wes Welker. Wes Welker changed the game, not just for our football program, but for our entire school community.
Yeah, Wes Welker, well, he is quite the football player. The one thing that always gets by when everybody talks about Wes is how good a defensive player he was. I mean, he's still our all-time leading tackler by a wide margin. He was so good on defense, and the instinct that he had of where the ball was going was amazing. Of course, on both sides of the ball, but the instinct he had where the ball was going was amazing. Such a good defensive player. Everybody talks about his offensive accolades, and obviously, as you know, with his career, they were fantastic. But he was so good for us on defense, and I think that sometimes gets lost when people talk about him. And I just wanted to see him on the field and to read plays. It was kind of amazing, and he turned that around on the offensive side, and it was just as good.
During his time at Heritage Hall, Wes embodied what it truly means to be a Charger: hardworking, disciplined, and fearlessly competitive. He embraced every challenge, pushed beyond every limit, and refused to settle for anything less than his absolute best.
Hello, this is Graham Colton, number 10. What can I say about Wes Welker? He's a best friend. He's the most gifted athlete I've ever seen in person, from Little League all the way to our state championship team. And of course, watching him in college and in the pros and as a coach. But I think our most special time really was those 6 a.m. mornings before we showed up to the weight room, where he would pick me up. And I forget the car that he drove, but it wasn't a great car, to say the least. And maybe the music that he played wasn't my favorite, but we really had an incredible bond every morning before the state titles, before the undefeated season. It was just Wes and I, early morning, sleepy from the night before. And the thing about Wes is he made everybody better. His mentality, his passion, everybody was better because of him. And that's just a special gift that very few people have. Incredible teammate, incredible leader, and I can honestly say that time in my life and being teammates with Wes Welker was one of the best times in my life. And Wes was the leader of our group, and there's nobody like him. Congratulations, your best friend, Graham.
Whether on the field or in the classroom, Wes proved that greatness comes not just from talent, but from grit, focus, and an unwavering commitment to excellence. Even more importantly, Wes showed generations of students that with heart and hustle, anything is possible.
Okay, Wes Welker. Wes Welker is one of the most famous guys that came out of here as far as his career. But when he started here, he started with so much enthusiasm, determination. He practiced hard. He set a different tone for us every day in practice. He wouldn't let anybody else give any less than 100%. And over time, that caught on to the rest of our kids. Wes, is in the record books in, I think, 6 career records that he still holds. He only holds 2 seasonal records. That's most tackles and most solo tackles. And he does not have 1 single game record. That's hard to believe. And that's just because he played consistently over time. Every game, he gave everything he got all the time. And we could talk all day about his effort in practice and in games, but there were a couple times. One time he had like a 70-yard touchdown run, and he fell down in the end zone. Kids mobbed him. He got up, walked back to kick the extra point. He grabbed his helmet, tipped it up, vomited, came back, kicked the extra point, and moved on. Wes played tailback, slot back, wide receiver. He played safety for us. He returned kicks. He returned punts. He kicked extra points, kicked field goals. He did everything that a kid could do, and he did it at full speed all the time. And I think with Wes, it carried on into his career at Texas Tech and the NFL, and now with his coaching. He just was a determined kid. And I think the one thing that set Wes apart from any kid that I coached, and we've had some great ones, is his focus, his ability to focus. He was a jokester, and he'd mess around like the rest of them. But when it was time to line up and play, his focus came and he gave everything he got. And I think that his determination and success came from that focus that he had, and he still has it today. And Wes, really proud of you, buddy, and congratulations.
Wes Welker.
Stay right there, stay right there. I get to make you uncomfortable now. Looking forward to it. Thanks for those tributes. It never gets old hearing about people talk about Wes. And it's so fun to be on this end of it. Tell him he couldn't walk and chew gum until I got my hands on him. He had an older brother who played for me. I was the head football coach when Lee played here. And Lee was a heck of a player. Wide receiver, defensive back, kicker. KXY Prep Player of the Week for his Alva performance. His brother came along and he was Prep Player of the Year. Okay? We were at the same banquet, National Cowboy Hall of Fame. I go with Lee and I attend with the family. It was the four of them and me, table of 8. We all go with Wes. We've got 16 seats. We've got 2 tables. We got our entire staff. Lee, you were the trailblazers. You showed the way. You cleared the path for him. I know how this worked. You guys, in 1998, right out there on the field, we witnessed stuff. We witnessed a guy who played with the rare combination. Rod didn't say it, so I'm going to steal it from him. Wes went into the Oklahoma Athletic Hall of Fame a couple of summers back, and Rod did a video tribute for that. And he said at that time, if you would sample his blood, take a droplet, and get the DNA, you would find that Wes is one of those rare people that has football in his DNA. He probably does. We know he's tough. He was so tough for us. Shelley, I'm so glad you didn't file charges on our coaches. They tried to abuse your son for years. It's just incredible how tough you were. And Rod talked about you didn't always raise your face mask. Sometimes you just shot it right through the face mask. And then we handed you the ball. One time the official blew it dead. He made you get off. He didn't want that stuff all over the field. You were tough. You were everything you want in a football player. I heard Justin say gritty. I think you were gritty. I don't know what it is, but I think you were gritty. You were tough. You were gritty. You were dependable. You had a work ethic, self-work ethic. It wasn't us. You motivated your teammates, you motivated your coaches because of the way you worked. And that's the way you were everywhere you played. I'd have loved to be in the locker room in Lubbock, Texas, when they finally gave you an opportunity. You walked in the locker room for the first time. I'm sorry, but they had to go, that's the guy from Oklahoma? Yeah, that's him. Everything I just said about you is not measurable. Not in feet or inches or in tenths of seconds. It's stuff that everybody has. But you bring it to the front like nobody else. Started in 7th grade is where we saw it. And it continued all the way through your football career. You did everything for us. You couldn't throw it very well, but you did everything for us. And you did everything at Tech. Number one, they didn't want you. They had to take you because you showed them they were wrong. You didn't just catch passes, you returned punts, you returned kickoffs. You redefined the slot position in the air raid offense. And then you go to the pros and you do the same thing. Wes has done things in a professional football game that no other person has ever done in the history of pro football. That's a fact. You don't pass the eye test. You're not 6'4", 240 and run a 4.240 and can jump out of the gym. And yet you play like that. Every one of us possesses all that stuff, but none of us can get to it like you can. I love to say you caught passes from Kingsbury and from Brady and from Manning, but it started right here with your best friend Graham throwing to you. You know, I think Brady and Manning were just trying to keep up with him. And then you play for Mike Leach. I don't know what that was like, but it sure was fun to watch. He's awesome. And you played for Saban. He was in Miami when you were there at the Dolphins. And then you played for this guy named Belichick. He likes cheerleaders. It started here with Rod Warner. That is amazing. We watched this stuff. You had the ability to impact a game or a play in ways that people had never even imagined. You rarely came off the field. You did that at Tech, and you did that in the NFL. Wes was a member of our 97 state track team here. Coach Keith Castle, he could have tracked them. He had 5 athletes. He had 5 guys out for track. They won the state title. State title that year was at Yukon High School, old Yukon High School. He was a 4-time selection to the Little All City team. We've talked about the date of Oklahoma. He was a 4-time selection. You do the math. He had to make it as a freshman. It's his senior year, he was named the Gatorade Player of the Year in the state of Oklahoma. All of the state of Oklahoma, Wes was named the Player of the Year. And they got it right. Andy, I'm with you. He was a better defensive player than he was offensive player, and nobody ever talks about it. Nobody will ever have the stats you had on defense. I called the defenses back then. I had help, but I called them. It didn't matter what I called. Number 5 was going to make the play. It was the greatest job I ever had. Doesn't matter. Just get 11 guys out there and make sure 5's one of them. In the year 2000, the Daily Oklahoman wrote an article. A guy whose name was Barry Trammell. He wrote an article, and the title of the article was, Greatest High School Football Player I've Ever Seen. And at that time, they still had a staff of writers that covered high school sports, the prep parade. And so Barry Trammell went to him, and he would say, hey, who's the best high school football player you ever saw? And they would give 2 or 3 names, and then they would give a paragraph about the one they selected. At the Oklahoman at that time, the guru, the AI, the Google before it was Google, was a guy named Ray Soldan. Ray Soldan wrote about high school sports in Oklahoma for over 50 years, all at the Oklahoman. His specialty was high school football. If you needed to know something about high school, and especially high school football, you'd call Ray Soldan. You'd leave a message on his voice recorder, and he would call you back. What's the longest winning streak in the state right now? He knew. He knows everything about high school football. When he got up in his age and he quit writing as much, his daughter started writing for the paper. Her name was Penny Soldan. I share those names because their bylines are probably on some articles that are written about you or about the 98 team. So Barry Trammell goes to Ray Soldan and he says, Ray, I'm writing this article about the greatest high school football player you've ever seen, and you've seen them all. You've seen them for over 50 years, and everybody knows you're the expert on that. Ray, who's the greatest high school football player you have ever seen in the state of Oklahoma? Ray Soldan did not list 2 or 3 players and then tell you which one he picked. He said one name, Wes Welker. I'm going to tell you, if I was holding a mic right now, I'd drop it. I mean, that's all you need to hear. Ray Soldan says Wes Welker is the greatest high school football player he has ever seen. And he's seen a lot of them. You've heard about what your head coach thought about you. You've heard about what the reporter, Ray Soldan, thought about you. And now I'm going to tell you what one of your teammates thought about you. I was not there when this conversation took place, but it was relayed to me shortly after the fact. The scene was the field, Lewis Field, after the game. You know, I kept hearing this announcer say, "No spectators allowed on the field. Please do not come on to the field. Fans are not allowed." So I wondered what he was talking about, and so I turned around and looked to the north stands where we were seated. I did not see one Heritage Hall person coming over that wall. I saw hundreds of Heritage Hall persons coming over that wall. They didn't want to wait for the stairway, so they were just jumping over the wall. So that's where this conversation takes place. It's on the field, and everybody's happy and everybody's celebrating. Dr. Tom Peake, former voice of Charger football, self-tacklization. He's my source. He's talking to Derek after the game. By the way, Derek's here tonight, and Derek flew his own airplane down here. He was the pilot of the airplane that he flew down here tonight. Yeah, I wasn't on it, but he flew it. So he's talking to Derek after the game, and I'm sure Judy's there, his wife, and Libby, his daughter's probably there too, and he's talking to Derek, and he's going, "Oh my gosh, Derek, the most amazing game ever. It caps off the most amazing season ever. 15-0 undefeated state champions. Exciting. We were anxious, we were nervous, we were basket cases up there. I got to ask you one question, son. We were 3rd and 19. We get it down to 4th and 5. It is 4th and 5. It's exactly the play Andy was talking about a minute ago. It's 4th and 5. The whole season's on the line. Everything we've worked for, wanted, prayed for, it's on the line. Convert or it's over. Derek, I got one question for you. What were you thinking? When you lined up, you were in the formation. What were you thinking when you lined up? Dad, I'm not going to lie. I was thinking, I sure hope he throws it to Wes. I was thinking the same thing. And I had confidence in all of our guys. But that's what we all think of you. You're absolutely amazing. And what really puts the cherry on top, Wes, is you've never forgotten where you came from. Well, I know where you were this morning. You guys remember it rained this morning in Oklahoma City? Wes is at Taft Stadium, historic Taft Stadium, with several of our coaches. He's got 13 teams there for a 7-on-7 passing league today. He has the inner city schools, your Capitol Hill, your Northeast, your Southeast, your U.S. Grant, your Northwest Classens, your Star Spencer. He comes back every year and does that. Our coaches were there today helping. They help all the time. Wes, you've given not just your money to those guys and those schools, but you've given your time, and you've given your expertise, and you've given them your attention. The weight room at Capitol Hill is the Wes Welker weight room if you've never been down there. I doubt you have. He gives back every single year. They talk about it when he's not around. I infrequently run into some of those kids, and when I find out they play football, I ask them about you. They claim they can school you on some routes. I tell them they got to remember you weren't a paid professional defensive back. You were an offensive player for those guys. But you've helped those kids, and you've influenced so many others, and I'm not up here to pitch my family's nonprofit, but Fields and Future started because of Wes Welker. My sister and brother-in-law, that's their nonprofit. Cleats for Kids by the McDaniels was influenced by you. They scheduled a wedding on top of this tonight. That's why they're not here. But you've influenced other people. Fields and Futures have put in a field on athletic playing fields on every middle school and high school in Oklahoma City public school system. And they're nice fields. U.S. Grant has artificial turf fields. Southeast High School has the oldest school in the history of the world, and they got brand new artificial turf field. That charity was inspired by you, Wes. He still coaches. He coaches for the Washington Commanders. He says they're going to beat the hell out of Dallas this year. I'm wrapping this up. I could talk about you for 2 days, maybe longer. We are so proud to say that you started your journey here at this school. You played on that field right out there. You wore the blue and gold colors. You've provided us with unbridled joy. You've provided us with moments that we all witnessed, we all watched, we might have been a part of, we might have even watched the tape of it, and we still have a hard time believing it was really true. Thanks for the way you played the game. Thanks for the respect you showed towards others. You could have been a lot of ways. Thanks for being awesome, always. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to welcome the ultimate Charger, Wes Welker, into the Hall of Fame.
The Hall of Fame award for Wes Welker will be presented by Coach Andy Bogert. Please welcome to the stage inaugural Hall of Fame recipient, Wes Welker, class of 2000.
Well, wow, that was incredible, Coach Allen. Thank you so much, man. Such kind words. You've always been such a great centerpiece of Heritage Hall and what you brought to this whole place, and really appreciate you. And you're the perfect guy for this too. You know that, right? Really are. Craig Brown. Amazing. I mean, the only guy I can see giving an acceptance speech and talking about everybody else during it. I mean, that, seriously, true humility. Like, you saw him through the halls and everything, but incredibly humble and with everything you accomplished here. Shirley Webster, Dick Villaflor, I know I didn't play for you guys, but I always knew how much your players loved you guys and what an amazing job you all did in your respective sports, and the energy that you brought to this place was felt, and definitely appreciate you guys. You know, I'm not much for writing speeches, but somebody earlier today, actually, I guess I did write the speech like 26 years ago, and I'm sorry I forgot your name, but somebody gave this to me. So I guess at my senior year, we all like wrote letters to ourselves. And at our 10-year reunion, I guess they gave them out. I didn't make our 10-year reunion. So it's 26 years now. So I went ahead and read it while I was at the table. And I was like, you know what? I want to share that with everybody. It is, Dear Wes, wow, what a run. You've done it. I'm not sure what it is right now, but whatever it is, you should be proud of yourself. You have already accomplished many goals, and you should set more goals and higher goals. Wes, you have achieved so much, and just because you're an old fart now, doesn't mean you can't stay in shape. I mean, I'm a senior in high school, okay? And pimp all the ladies. Till I found you, babe. Just do what you can with what you have, where you are. Remember Steve Prefontaine? I was a big Steve Prefontaine guy, you know? He was a track star at Oregon, if anybody doesn't know. And one of his quotes was, I just hope it comes down to a pure guts race, because if it does, I'm the only one who can win. Never forget all of your old high school friends, and stay strong. Yours truly, Wes Welker, number 5. P.S. Do ya? Don't ask. But as far as the guy that got that fumble, Coach Villaflor, that was JT Glomset. JT. The guy that recovered the onside kick was Derek Pete. And then Graham Colton threw a 6.5-yard out route to Paul Long. And that half a yard was a big deal because that football barely crossed that crossbar into whatever kind of mile per hour wind that thing was going into to beat Davis. Incredible, man. You know, you think back to that year and that season and all the things that led up to that. And I think one of the first things that really comes to mind for me is Coach Rod Warner started Charger Iron my freshman year. And I think that's one of the biggest things that really stuck with me. I hired E.K. Franks to be our strength coach. And E.K. was awesome. He brought that energy, man. Really taught me something, though, like having those 6 a.m. workouts and us all working together. And, you know, our freshman year was okay. Sophomore year, a little bit better. And then junior year really kicked in, but found the consistency of us doing that day after day, summer after summer. That was the foundation and the groundwork of what makes Heritage Hall what it is, and as far as the athletics and everything. Don't ever lose sight of that. And it's something I kept with me, even my time in the pros. You know, my wife would always ask me, like, why do you wake up? You have all day to work out, and you go at 6 a.m. Like, what? I'm like, I just do. I don't know. It's just what I do. And I think it really starts with Charger Iron. And I think the inches and the yards and the half yards, and they're everywhere. And I think it always starts with the work. And I think us starting that early on was such a huge part of the success we were able to have here. To the coaches, Coach Adams, Coach Bogert, I mean, all you got. I mean, we had, not only was it good ball, and Coach Bogert came over, I believe it was my sophomore year. We had fun. We had fun, but it was hard, but it was also good ball. And they put you in positions to succeed, which is really all you can ask of coaches to really kind of do for you, is put you in that spot where you can be your best. And I thought they did a hell of a job doing that for us. You know, my teammates, I mean, wow, like one of the best years of my life, and even to this day, my favorite season is 1998. You know, it almost got surpassed, and then we went 18-1. But really, that season was really something special. Really, the two main people I want to thank are my parents, Leon and Shelley. My brother also whooping me into shape growing up, that's for sure. But the sacrifices they made for me to get to go to Heritage Hall are not lost. It was, you know, never easy for us to, you know, pay tuition at a place like this. There were always hard times of us, and I'm incredibly grateful for that. I am. Thank you all very much. I know that wasn't easy. I know it wasn't, and like, who knows which way it could have gone if you hadn't made those sacrifices, so thank you. Trying to think who else I need to thank. I was hoping to end on that one, but I thank you all very much for tonight. This is such a special school, such a special people, as you all can see. You know, those of you who have kids here or have had kids here or whatever, you can realize what a special place this is. And I can only hope that my kids have that same opportunity someday. So I thank you all for this. This has truly been an honor, and I appreciate everybody being here tonight. Thank you.